Okay, greetings, Poke fans. Welcome back to Poke Relaxing, and a very happy new year to one and all out there. Today is a video that I have been procrastinating on for way too long. In fact, I've missed the Pokemon grading special at PSA, which expired at the end of the year, so I'm going to have to pay more for my grading than I would have liked, but I think it's like $1 more, so it's not crazy amount. So this is going to be kind of a fun little recap of a lot of cards I've pulled over the last several months, and these are basketball cards over there, don't mind those. Yeah, so like as I've opened things, I've generally been looking at them to see primarily if the centering is okay and the backs of the card, especially around the edges, are clean, free from white marks of wear. And if so, and if it was a relatively good card, then I put it in this pile that I'll be looking through here today and deciding what I want to send in for grading. Some things I have kind of already taken a closer look at, or at least I felt, given the card and kind of the primary issue of centering, I felt like these were definite grading candidates, so these are already in card savers. Apologies if you catch some glare today, because I have put some extra lighting in right above where I'm working at, because I want to be able to make sure I see. So, first two cards are the Greninja EX promos from the Shrouded Fable collection boxes. That it's funny, I was just looking at these online, or I was at an online store, and they happen to have those in stock, and it was a store that generally has pretty competitive pricing. I think it was like Troll and Toad or something, but they had these boxes at like $44 or so, and something like, I don't know, like a month ago, there was like a sudden restock of them at a bunch of locations, and I would see them like at Walmart and Target and stuff, and I was like, wait a minute, aren't these things like kind of desirable? So I did buy a bunch of them. I still have a bunch that are sealed, but a couple of them I've opened and pulled the promos out for grading. If you can get a 10, I think it's a pretty nice card. Ungraded, I think it's probably like a $13, $14 card or so. So anyways, open the Shrouded Fable packs as well. Alright, next up we have a Deerling. This is from, what is this from? TEF. Why can I, man, this is going to drive me nuts if I don't figure it out. So I'm going to do it like a Pokemon set abbreviation guide. Let's see. Alright, yes, TEF is Temporal Forces. Not something I've opened a ton of, but pretty cool little card, ungraded. I think this is maybe like a $14 card, and this one looks pretty clean. So, alright, next up we have the Hisuian Samurott V-Star. This has got to be from, I was going to say it's got to be from, sorry, I'm not minding the glare there, but it's got to be from Crown Zenith, but the symbol is F, which, what would that be? Is that the symbol though? Because I feel like they're usually 3 letters. I think this is from Crown Zenith because it says GG, which is Galarian Gallery, and I think that's exclusive to Crown Zenith, but that would be be CRZ, so I think maybe these guys have their own symbol, but yeah, actually the F. Okay, so I think this is one of the cards that has this little symbol as the set, because sometimes it's a symbol and sometimes I think it's a 3 letters. I believe. I don't know. I'm still figuring all this out, but why don't they have the symbols on this side? I'm looking at. Trying to look for another. Yes. Okay. So Crown Zenith is a symbol. It's that symbol. All right. So there you go. So. Okay. So this card is kind of funny. So this is the Greninja that you want to get from Twilight Masquerade, and I've opened a fair amount of Twilight Masquerade over the years. I don't think I've ever opened like a booster box. I've opened a booster box of almost nothing except like Surging Sparks, but I was traveling with the kids, and we went on a Pokemon bender, and I bought. I'm pretty sure this card is from what is it called? Ultra Premium Collection. I'm losing all my words right now. Maybe I have a stroke. Just kidding, I'm not having a stroke. But it's the Terapagos UPC that comes with quite a few packs. I've always thought that was a cool box, because I think it comes with like 16 packs, and it's got some really cool promos. At least I think they're not worth a ton. One of them is worth a fair bit, like over $10. But the others are gold cards, and I like gold cards. And then there's this set of energy, like cracked ice energy cards that are found nowhere but in those things. Anyways, so I was opening that box when I was traveling. I was in Minneapolis, and I pulled this card, and I was like, oh, it's a Greninja. This can't be the one that, is valuable. And I did the thing, where you have an app. I think I was using Rare Candy, and you can take a picture of it. By the way, welcome to the most relaxing Pokemon channel on the YouTubes. Good to have you here. If you're looking for seizures, go check out PokeRev. And anyways, so I did the Rare Candy thing, and a lot of times when you scan a card to search for it, it will come up with the wrong card. And sure enough, it came up with a Greninja that I don't know what it was. It might have been that promo, or it might have been something else, but it was like, $15 or something. And I was like, yeah, that's what I thought. It's the cheap one. Well, I got home and didn't look at the cards for, I don't know, a week and a half or something, because I had COVID. That's where I got it when I was traveling. And I pulled out this card, and sure enough, I was like, oh, dang, that is the one. This is a $300. Actually, I think right now it's like $280 raw. Special illustration rare that before Surging Sparks came out, this was like the card in the Scarlet and Violet era. This was on an absolute rocket ship, and I feel like that first, like the first real sign of a bull market in Pokemon was when, this card exploded in value, and then the Twilight Masquerade booster boxes exploded in value, and all of a sudden they're worth like, $150. I think they got up to about 170. Now they're down a little bit, probably to about 160. But that was the first box to be selling for like more than $5 on, in the sort of aftermarket of, eBay and TCG Player and stuff. And people are like, whoa, this is crazy, because before then, Scarlet and Violet sets were kind of considered to be like pretty crappy. Nobody really was excited about anything in them. And everybody was, focusing on Sword and Shield stuff, which is the prior era of Pokemon cards. And so anyways, it's kind of funny that this card sort of kicked off the, the boom in the Pokemon world, like right when relatively soon after I started collecting, about, I don't know, 9 or 10 months ago. And I finally pulled it, which is really cool. It's not my favorite card, honestly. This illustrator has like a few like pretty high value SIRs in Scarlet and Violet, but I'm not a huge fan. I mean, it does look cool in person. It's like this splash of like paint or something behind him, but like I don't know what kind of creature is a Greninja, like some sort of amphibian of some kind. But it's like I can never tell just looking at little pictures of this, on eBay or whatever, like what the hell's going on. So now that I have it, I can take a close look. Anyways, I'm sitting at then probably get a 9, or I feel like a lot of these might easily be 9s, but my hope is to get like 50-50 9s and 10s, and I'm sure I'll get a handful of 8s. Or, maybe I missed a giant scratch and I'll get like a 6 or something. But this Pikachu, what is this from? It's a promo from Celebrations. I feel like this had a little bit of value, and I actually got this card, I think from TCG Player. I think I ordered it with a bunch of other cards. It's a little bit off-center, like more off-center than I would like. But I don't know, I thought I'd give it a shot, send that in. Alright, now let's look at cards that I just sort of put in this stack. Some of these cards may not be worth really enough to send in, and I think these first two are probably going to fit that category. So these are actually the 2 gold promos that come with that Terapagos UPC. By the way, I'm thinking pretty seriously about picking out a bunch of those UPCs, just because like UPCs in general do quite well over time, and right now it seems nobody wants those things. I can't figure out why. I guess people just don't really like more expensive items that are, collections of various boosters. But I think in time, it's funny because, bear with me folks for this little sidetrack, but I still get the heat, I get hives when I hear people talk about restocks, because I believe that restocks are a figment of people's imagination, or sorry, not restocks, reprints. I don't think a reprint has ever happened in the Scarlet and Violet era. I don't know, because I wasn't around in the Sword and Shield era, if anything that happened there actually was a reprint. But I actually kind of doubt it, because I've gone back and looked at, like, again, my wholesaler, used to send me, Excel spreadsheets with everything they had in stock. And I went back and looked. I did a video on this. And like back in, 2019, there was like unlimited quantities of Sun and Moon Cosmic Eclipse booster boxes available to purchase for months on end. So I feel like nothing was ever really in demand enough. I think that Pokemon definitely does like try to anticipate based on what the prior set's demand was. So that's where you get there was like I forget which set it was, but it was one of the Fate set. It might have been Shining Fates, or it might have been the one after that. If it wasn't Paldean, it wasn't Paldean Fates for sure, but one of the Fate sets. I can't remember all the ones, but there are. But I know that you'll hear anybody who was collecting at that time tell you how they printed that into the ground, and even until a month or two ago, you could find those things at MSRP. But I think they probably just made that decision before they released that set. They were going to just make a bajillion, and that was one of those sets that came out, I think, during the pandemic era. So there was a ton of demand, and Pokemon's like, all right, yeah, let's when we print these, let's print a ton. And they did. And I think that happens. But I think this idea that Pokemon goes back, at least for English sets, goes like back to the printer and says, yeah, let's spend another like $5 million on the setup of the, the printing presses, to print some more of a set. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, they would have to basically equal, I think, the production of the initial batch of stuff for that to make any kind of economic sense. But the, quote unquote reprints are never that significant. And everything that's been called a reprint that I've seen in the Scarlet and Violet era is clearly just a restock of inventory at the wholesale level that then creates like sort of a short-term, increase in supply, which you saw in, like Paldea Evolved, a bunch of booster box cases like, showed up at all of the distributors at some point like 3-4 months ago, and people are all calling that a reprint. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's like not a reprint. Like, that's not like twice the production or a fourth of the production or an eighth of the production of the original set. This is like a tiny amount. And what I've learned is that Pokemon, the company, they house a significant quantity of every product that they sell through Pokemon Center. And sometimes when they just have too much of it, in their own inventory, they will then release a bunch of that to wholesalers, and then it will, be sort of made known to the rest of the market, because, dealers talk about what's available at their wholesaler, blah, blah, blah. So I've been listening to, by the way, I apologize if you want to get to the grading stuff. I hope you fast-forwarded by now, but a lot of people just like to, kind of hang out and ramble about topics of interest, which I certainly enjoy when I watch content. But I have been watching some content from somebody who is, focusing on trying to kind of analyze what's happening at the dealer level and in Pokemon. And, he's saying that, so if you don't know, people have figured out a way that you can tell the quantity of an item that Pokemon has in stock through their website at Pokemon Center. So they can see, if you have like this software that basically just must interact with the web API at the site, and produce data on in-stock quantities. And so they basically follow stuff like that. Like the example would be this Fusion Strike stuff that just sold out. A lot of people who have access to this data on stock level. We're seeing the supply of Fusion Strike products at Pokemon Center. Not talking about the booster boxes, talking about the ancillary items like build-in battles and stuff. They were seeing that dwindle and dwindle and dwindle, and then it reached the point where it was clear they were going to sell out. And it's a major sort of market event when Pokemon Center sells out of something, because it spikes demand. It drives price wildly upward in many cases, because suddenly you can't buy that stuff anymore from Pokemon Center where the price is static. You have to go to the market where everybody's going to charge, more and more and more as long as people are buying it. So, in any event, this guy, who's got this channel where he talks about kind of dealer level stuff, wholesale level kind of analysis of stuff, says that there's like 20,000 booster boxes of Temporal Forces in stock at Pokemon Center, which currently sells all Scarlet and Violet boxes for $161. And so he was predicting that, sorry, it's my ice maker up there, but he was predicting that Pokemon Center is going to release a bunch of that too. There's the water pump that goes to the ice maker. Apologies. So he was saying they were going to release a bunch of this stuff, to distributors, just like they did earlier this year, or earlier in 2024, I should say now. They did that with Paldean Fates. They did that, or sorry, Paldea Evolved. They did that with Obsidian Flames. They did it with Temporal Forces as well. And I'm trying to think if there was another set where suddenly there was like a bunch of booster box cases that showed up at every wholesaler. But I don't think so. I think it was those three primarily. So, anyways, I started saying all this because people were, so the first, I didn't really know about reprints. When I first started collecting, I mean, I kind of heard people talk about them. And as a sports card collector, I thought, like, that's insane that they reprint stuff, after a year time or, half a year time. Like, that's inconceivable in sports cards because you have serial numbered cards. So it's like, what do where are you going to get more serial numbered cards if you distribute them all in the first one? So, anyways, I sort of heard it, but didn't really think too much about it. Then I had my eye on the 151 UPCs, which, speaking of this Terapagos thing, this Terapagos UPC, which nobody seems to want right now, I was just thinking of the 151 UPCs that sat on the shelf at Costco. Like, you could buy them on their website for a year, at like a reduced price, basically, over, substantially reduced price versus what Pokemon was selling them for directly on Pokemon Center. And I had bought 20 of them, and something like later that day, I saw somebody, or multiple sites were posting about how there's going to be a reprint of 151. So I was like, oh crap, these things are going to be worthless. So I canceled my order because I'm a moron. And luckily then, anyways, I got it in time and they just didn't ship them. So anyways, now those $90 boxes are worth like, I don't know, $250 or something, $300. Because I listen to morons who think that, reprints are a real thing. They're not. So there's my story. Okay, so these came from the Terapagos UPC. I can see the Cinderace is off-center, so I won't bother saying that. And the Lapras is definitely on-center. Let's take a look at the back through the... Sometimes, I don't know, I generally keep all of these wrapped promos. God, this is really nice. I don't know, I think I'm going to send it in. So these cards are only like $3. But, anything that's a decent card, like a fairly rare, double star or better, or equivalent in a promo, which is what this is. Any card that's, sufficiently nice, if you get a PSA 10, it's gonna be worth the price of grading. It will be worth $15. So I don't know. I like this card, so I'm gonna include it, send it in. My apologies again, by the way, if you didn't want to hear that giant rant. I'll put that in the title so people know it's coming. But again, we're here to just kind of chit chat. I mean, honestly, I consume so much Pokemon content, so much news, and I'm trying to stay on top of like everything that's going on at all times in the Pokemon world, because the card collecting world, I should say. Just because you need that information to make decisions. It's kind of funny, if I put half this effort into like options trading or something, I'd probably make like $1 billion in 3 months, but that wouldn't be nearly as fun, I don't think. So, I'm not going to do it. Alright, kids. My apologies. Thanks for watching. Hope everybody's doing fantastic out there in the world. Alright, we got some Japanese cards here. This is the sort of like third most valuable Pokemon. I think they're Pikachu, I think. I should look this up. I'm going to have to make sure I got my TCG player up here. So let's take that. Take a look at that. So I'm going to do Pikachu pick. Pikachu. sorry, that's Pikachu with a K, EX, and then I'm going to do in Pokemon Japan. Okay, so actually this is the one I was thinking of. It's the third most valuable. This one is only $1.33. So it doesn't really make any sense to send this in, even though it is pretty nice. So I think this gets thrown in the do not grade pile with the Cinderace. And I will be, I'm going to keep my keyboard kind of handy because I will want to look up stuff before I decide it's going in the grading pile. So I kind of put that there. Okay, Milcery. I think this was a relatively recent pull. What is this from? SCR. What is SCR? Stellar Crown, of course. Okay. So yeah, it looks pretty clean. Back is pretty clean. Back looks nicely centered too. So that's going to be probably a question of whether it is valuable enough. I would generally say anything like less than $7. I'm probably not going to send in, and I forgot. So yeah, $2.67 on this one. Although I have been seeing actually reports lately of cards that like are worth like, you know, $4 ungraded, and then PSA 10s that are worth like $100. So I do want to make sure I'm not. This one is even worth $4. So yeah, so 152 PSA 10. See if we can find some sales of this thing. Sorry, I forgot to bring you over. Alright, well there's one selling for $50, PSA 10. There's one in an auction. But as always, we need to just go down to sold items. So yeah, $39 and $21. Like it's conceivably worth the risk. There's $40 to send a card like this in, but I don't know. It's on the cusp. I think last time I sent in cards, I was like, well, if it's like $30 in a PSA 10, it's probably worth. And actually, you know, as I look at this, some PSA 9s are showing up. So PSA 9 is $26. Although, strangely, a PSA 10 is also $26. So, like, what do you make of this data? So I kind of want to do it like a PSA 9. Search and find those. Yeah, so this one's $20. 20, whatever, it's 30 something, actually 32. But it's Canadian. This one's 26. So, like, it actually is not a terrible... it's not a terrible idea to send this in, you know, and pay $15 to have it graded. It comes back a PSA 9. It's worth probably $20 as a PSA 9. And if you score, so I don't know. It's a tough one. I don't know. I think maybe I will send it in. I think before I was sending in, like when I was sending in the kind of base cards from like the base set, the 1999 base set, or some of those early sets, like those were ones where like a PSA 10 was like $40, and I sent those in, but at like a 9 was like, you know, $15 or something. So I guess this is not any worse than I've done before. And again, I mean, the only problem is you get a PSA 8, then you've wasted your money. So, hard to say. Alright, let's look at Darkrai. This is probably a pretty nice card. Probably in the teens, I would say. So another Galarian Gallery from Crown Zenith. My favorite set. Let's look at the back. Yeah, looks pretty clean. So, I think that's an easy grading decision right there to send that one in. Man, this holder is beat down. I know what's going on here. Like, I know exactly who sleeved this. My older daughter used to just mangle sleeves. She'd be like, you know, trying to get it open to put the card in. And anyways, I recently said, you know what, you gotta be gentle. Try not to crease the sleeve. So hopefully she'll do a little better. Probably have to remind her a few times, but look at that beautiful card. Love the colors on this. We'll look it up real quick just for fun. So many cool cards out of Crown Zenith. Alright, let's take a look at the values on that one. Raw. I won't look up the graded if it's over like 10 bucks. Because it's just guaranteed to be worth it in a PSA 10 if it's $10 or more. So yeah, $22. Okay, very nice. Very nice. It's gorgeous. Alright, so now we have a Pikachu promo. This is from, I actually have a bunch of these because I bought a bunch of those Paldean adventure chests, which is where you get this card. There's one in each box. Boy, that back looks really off. Maybe not. Maybe not. It's kind of hard to tell what's in the thing. But this one looks pretty nicely centered. So this is not the back of the card. There's like a stack of cards in here. But I know this is only worth, I think, like $4 or $5. But you know, it's worth more than the Milcery. So, and it's Pikachu. So I feel like this one could be. I'm just gonna get a separate eBay window open here. Sorry, I gotta bring it over here. I feel like this one could be worth a fair bit. That's weird. I think my camera might have flutzed out here, but we'll find out after we're done looking at this. I might have to pause, but let's look at so Pikachu. God, how am I gonna find this? I'm gonna say 088, which is the number. Yeah, PSA 10. Alright, so they're selling for fairly high. Or they're sort of being listed for high. Will they sell for that high amount? Yeah, so $60. Dang. As I mentioned, I have a couple more of these, so I might want to look at those as well. A lot of times a strategy for... Oh, look at that. Huh, that's weird. Oh, okay, I gotta select the camera again. Weird. Okay, so a lot of times a strategy for sending in cards to be graded is, you know, send in 2 or 3 of the same card, and you know those suckers at PSA are going to, like, give one of them a 10 and then dunk on the rest. Because God forbid they give you 2 10s. I mean, you know, it has happened. I've gotten 2 10s sending in 2 cards, but they feel like they're looking for a rejection. It's like they're trying to keep their quota of non-10s on every order. So if you give them some opportunity, okay, a little speck of white on there maybe. So not the best, but yeah, I don't know. I think I want to send that in anyways. You know, famous last words. You know, you just like, oh man, it's such a nice card. It's got that one thing. I gotta send it in anyway. And then you get an 8, and you're like, what the F am I doing with my life? But it's nicely centered. Obviously, surface is going to be clean. I don't know if that little tiny, it's not really like a significant whiting. It's a very minor, but I don't know if that might count against. We'll see. Here are the other promos in that Paldea Adventure Chest. They are from Paldea Evolved. Okay. Alright, what is this from? MEW. Man, why don't I ever, like, just instantly recognize a set name? Trying to find my... Suddenly I have 2,000 windows open, not a single one of them containing the information I know I was looking for 2 seconds ago. Welcome to my life. Alright. So, let's see. Pokemon card set. There we go. MEW, like, I mean, what? It's obviously... Oh, wow, that's 151, okay. Wait a minute, why is 151 MEW? Well, anyways, it's a gold card. It's an ultra rare. It's very nicely centered. It's got a little bit. It's funny. It's got a little bit of white on that same corner that we saw in that Pikachu. In the back is significantly more off-centered. I mean, the front is not off-centered at all. Maybe top to bottom, a tiny bit off-centered, but boy, that's awful nice. So let's see what this thing's worth. Let's see, basic energy 207. So 478. I'm kind of curious to see if anybody grades these things to give us comps. We think the search algorithm on eBay is a lot better. Interesting. So it had a $65 sale from back in November, and the market has only gotten hotter since then, but they're going for less, $40. Yeah, boy, I don't know. I think I'm gonna send this in. I should like be taking notes on all these things, like where I sort of spot like a little bit of whiting on a corner. I feel like that amount of whiting is so minor, and again, these are all packed fresh, so this is not the kind of whiting that comes from, sorry, gotta switch camera. This is not the kind of whiting that comes from, you know, any kind of abuse, playing it in a deck or something like that. I kind of feel like they should be more forgiving, but, you know, I'm sure they disagree with me. Alright, let's check out Caterpie. By the way, it's going to be like a 3-hour video if I do all these cards, so I'm not entirely sure I'm going to. Alright, let's check out Caterpie. Okay, yeah, that's a nice one. So 974. So let's take a look at the cards. Definitely a grading candidate if it's in good shape. Centering looks pretty solid. Let's check the back. Everything looks pretty good there. And the back centering looks nice as well. So that's a definite grade. So we are moving right along. Alright, so somebody's got to tell me why the 151 set is abbreviated MEW. This is also, looks like I think I opened like a booster bundle of 151, because this also is from 151, so 3 cards in a row from that set. Alright, so this is interesting, because I'm looking at this card very closely, and I'm noticing, so these cards that are like kind of textured, like this one, you know, they're foil, right? So there's metallic finish to the card, and what happens is, and this also happens in sports cards, when they cut them, sometimes it can leave, like you see right above the 2 in stage 2, there's kind of a little sort of irregularity there. It's not totally smooth like the side edge, you know, but it's clearly something that happens in the factory when they cut these things, and it's kind of dependent upon where the knife hits the, you know, the ridges in the texturing there that determines that. And I've got a very key card, one of the most valuable cards and hottest cards of the SV era that I pulled, and that has that this actually has a couple of spots, and I feel like if you wanted to, actually, well, I'll get a new sleeve. You could try to, I don't know, somehow bend those back or flatten it down where that's hit, but I don't want to do that. But I mean, if you look on the back, like there's nothing there because it's just something that affects the cut, when it's cut on the foil. And I almost think it's just a natural thing on any metallic finish card like this that has this texturing. So it may actually be appearing on every textured card that gets cut, at least by that cutter. Maybe if it's like a really freshly sharpened blade, it won't do that. But I don't know. I'm gonna send this in because I'm very curious to see sort of what happens. Again, I should be taking notes. So centering wise, this looks great. Back, we already looked at, it is great, but it's got that. And again, anytime you get, and so the SIRs are always gonna have the foil texturing, and so they will be susceptible to that. So I guess I haven't closely examined a lot of foils. I don't know, but the other one that I have is from a totally different set, so I know it's not like something that was just happening in one set or something like that. Alright, so this is just an IR illustration where it does not have the metallic, finish and the texturing on the foil, so you don't have any of those cut, worries with a card like this. Let's look it up and see what we see. For price, this is from PAR. What is that? We'll find out. I feel like, these. Okay, there's. So yeah, 633. Paradox Rift. Okay, that makes sense. But yeah, I mean that's definitely something. Where as a 10, I'm sure it's like a $50 card. But yeah, I was noticing somebody was posting this on, I think, like a Pokemon subreddit that I see in my feed. They were posting about how there were like a few cards that were, again, they're like $4 or $5 raw, but as PSA 10s they're like $100 or $200 in some cases. And I was like, oh wow. And I guess the theory is, right, there's just not that many graded. So suddenly there's any kind of interest in the card, and it's gonna not be available as a PSA 10 because people just haven't sent them in. So if you have one, it's low pop and therefore high value. All right, so this is SV3. So I don't know. This is a Japanese set. Backs on the Japanese are always like flawless. It's like you don't even have to look. So this, I think is from Obsidian Flames in the English set, but SV3 sounds like it's, well, it would be this third Scarlet Violet set, but I don't know in Japan what that would be. Anyways, I'm going to try to look this up to the best of my ability and hope to God it comes up somewhere, but and there it is, 86 cents. Oh, wait a minute, that says SV4A. We want SV3, there we go. So this is Ruler of the Black Flame, which is Obsidian Flames. Japanese. So, I don't know. Wow, I guess it's only going from $2 to $1.40, but it looks like it's fallen off a cliff. Sorry, guys. Here's the card. So yeah. I do, just as an experiment here, because this is Japanese, I want to see if there's anything weird about Japanese cards that maybe make PSA 10s more valuable. So let's go Charizard EX066 PSA 10. Let's go Japanese too. So So yeah, PSA 10s, they're about $30, so it's kind of, on the cusp. It's kind of crazy. It's like $1.40 card, becomes a $30 card. If it's a PSA 10, here's a huge sale from Australia. But people do weird things in Australia. There's one for $46. That's pretty nice. So, I don't know, like that sale, if there were a bunch supporting that, here's another one, would suggest that the PSA 10s warrant the cost of grading. I want to look at 9s. So 9s are going to be a loser on grading. So I'm inclined, and this is a little off center left to right. So that right border is a little thicker than the left. So I think that's going to be a pass on that one. All right, next up we got Tapu Koko from Paradox Rift. This is, I believe, an SIR. Sure is cool looking. Yeah, it is textured. And I'm just noticing, actually, this doesn't have any of those, like, cut issues. So, I don't know. Maybe they're going to count those all against me. We will see. I mean, will it knock it down further than a 9? I don't know. We'll find out. Tapu. Actually, I don't need to take notes because I'm just going to, like, watch this video if I... okay, I'm still on eBay, but good enough. Alright, so there's a card. $3 plus 7 shipping. I'm going to do a PSA 10. See what comes up. So this one definitely seems to be worth it. It's like a $60 situation as a 10. So as a 9, it's probably 25, 30. Actually, I'm looking at the wrong card. Let me search the number of this one because that's going to be very helpful. Okay, so there you go. Actually, yeah. Probably not worth it then. Because, like, if you get a 10, it's only worth $21 shipped. As a 9, this thing's going to be a piece of trash. Too bad. This is a beautiful card. It doesn't have any of those cut mark issues. But I do want to just sort of see what the raw goes for. So yeah, it's a $2 raw, but I guess not enough love for this guy to drive that PSA 10 price up. It's sort of a weird Pokemon. Yeah, I wish my other cards that were SIRs were you know what though? I'm in Japanese. Let me make sure. Okay, so still only $2. Yeah. So it's not a SIR, it's just a ultra rare. But yeah, so I'm not going to send that one in, I don't think. Alright. I feel like this cannot be worth anything, but let me take a quick peek. Skeledirge EX. I feel like it's very rare that just a regular EX is worth anything, but it does happen in some sets. So this is Paradox Rift. It's this one. Yeah, 60 cents. Okay, so that's not going to go in the pile. In the grade pile, we got Gita. So she is textured. Dang, all the edges on these ones. There's a little nick there, I think. Are looking clean, which has me worried because my one big card is very high dollar if it's a 10, but a 9 would be fine on it as well. Let's just search Gita. I feel like we've pulled this card between me and my kids a bunch of times, so it's $2.98. Not the best. Let's see what eBay has to tell us. Gita 226 PSA 10. PSA 19, that'd be a good card right there. Yeah, this is not going to do well. 26 with 5 is 30. This one's 59. This one's 44. So it's actually, that first listing kind of threw me out, but everything else is like 40 or higher. So it could be worth it. You know, a card like this, it's just like you really got to be positive that there's no issues that you see. So if I saw even the slightest nick, yeah, because it's a break even. You know, if you get a PSA 9, I guess it's like could be worse. So let's take a quick closer look, and you know, if we really think this thing is flawless, then maybe we'll send it in. But yeah, I did say, yeah, I saw one little kind of one of those cut, actually issue there. I don't know. Okay, yeah, there's little tick marks all along the border there. I saw one like at the bottom. I was like, what is that? So I don't know. I mean, if those little cut marks are not an issue, this is probably very clean. Corners maybe look a little rough. So I think I'm gonna not send that in. Yeah, I'll just keep that in the pile. And I will probably keep these ones that I decide not to send in for price issue, you know, in a pile where if I have really good results from this return, I might rethink things. All right, here we have, this is the sort of equivalent to those Greninja promos that came in collection boxes with Shrouded Fable, and actually the Kingdra and the Greninja EX collection boxes came together in a case of like 6. You get 3 of each. So they're sort of sister cards here. And this one, so these are textured, which is kind of nice for a promo. And I do see that sort of cut edge issue on the top left of this one. It's also a little bit off center compared to the Greninja ones I looked at. So let's look at the back. Yeah, looks pretty good. Pretty. So I don't know. I'd probably send this in. I think this is like a $6 card. Those Greninjas are probably like $13 or $14. One time they were like 16, but so yeah, I don't know. This one's kind of borderline for me. But, you know, maybe they'll give this a 9 and then give my better cards a higher rate. I feel like that happens a lot too. It's like you're kind of bummed out about a return, and then because I could get a bunch of 9s and 8s that you're like, what the hell, on lower dollar cards that, you know, would be worth something if they were 10s but not anything else. And then you get like a, you know, $200 card graded at 10. It's like suddenly it's like $1,000 deal. So all right, we have Pheasantipity. So this is from Shrouded Fable. It's one of the better cards from Shrouded Fable. I think it's like a $14 card, so I don't have to look this one up because I just looked this up relatively recently. I think it came from those Shrouded Fable packs that I was going through on a video recently that I ordered loose and that are pretty dang awesome. So, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of got that cut issue like on the left corner there, so I don't know, might be something, but I don't know. I just feel like I'm seeing that on so many of these textured cards that they just have to, you have to believe that they are used to that, and they probably don't ding every card that has that issue, but maybe I'll be wrong. I mean, I should have looked at some of the cards that I sent in my prior batch, but I didn't really look for that issue on those cards, and so I don't know if any of them had it, and if so, whether they graded well or not so well. But I mean, I did get some 8s that I were like, what the hell? So this is a cool card. It's actually one of the like top 10 most valuable cards in Fusion Strike, which is, I'm sorry, Evolving Skies. Actually, maybe it's like a top 20 most valuable card in Evolving Skies, which is kind of neat because I don't have a lot of cards from Evolving Skies because I've probably opened about like 4 packs of that stuff in my life. Since I'm not a baller enough of a collector to spend that kind of money on individual packs. But yeah, this one I remember before I was looking at that. It looks like there's maybe little splotches there, but that's like part of the design. There's little dots, there's little stars here, and they're clear what they are there, but not over here. Anyways, so this is a textured card, and no issues on the cuts there. Looks pretty sweet. I think it's like a $35 card raw. You, I think, might have seen me pull this, or I'm pretty sure my daughter pulled this on a video, or at least maybe I showed it on a video, like after it was pulled. I can't remember. So anyways, that was a sweet pull. If that gets a 10, that's a really nice card. You know, that's probably like 150 bucks, I would say, if it's a $35 card raw. So that could be a nice one. It does look pretty nice. Condition-wise, all right, what we got here? Nimona. Looks pretty well-centered. Paldean Fates. Probably my second favorite set right now. Nothing going on the back. Back centering looks pretty solid too. So let's see the value. Let's see the value. $40 plus 5 ship, 45. PSA 10. I don't know. I don't know why I went there, but let's look it up. Raw on TCG. Yeah, so $6. Oh no, sorry, that's not the round. 69 cents. Yikes. All right, so this is definitely not a high value card, but let's go back and search for the PSA 10 values I saw on first blush. Yeah, so this one, you know, $35. It's kind of on the lower end. And here's a $18 PSA 10. Yikes. So pretty weak sauce. I mean, there's a 40. It's weird. I feel like a lot of times I'm seeing like November prices higher than December, which I don't understand. So this one again, you don't have to be really perfect for me to want to send this in. It does look fairly good from outside of the top loader. So let's take a closer look at the card by itself. See if we want to gamble $15 trying to turn this into a $30 card. Now this has definitely some of those. I have a hard time. There you go. You see that? It looks like a little cut there, like right between this little mark and the train light right there. So definitely, and there's another one over here. Definitely an issue on that one. And that's probably enough for me to not want to send that in. So, you know, I think also like a $2 card of a trainer or like a Pokemon that's not terribly popular is gonna not be so valuable, but like a $2 raw card of Pikachu or Charizard or something like that, I think is more likely to be worth, you know, $5 or $10 more as a PSA 10. So I think maybe I'll reserve the $2, you know, raw send-ins to the ones of more popular Pokemon. So here we have a Charizard EX from, I don't know why I don't know what this is from. Okay, it's a promo. Duh. Why did I miss that star? That's what I was thinking. This is a promo. I feel like this is the one that that comes with like a Charizard premium collection box. See what this goes for. So I think I only have one of these because I've only opened one of those boxes, but I really like those boxes actually because I think this card looks pretty awesome. So this is sorted by price, and it's going to take a long time to get down because I think it's only probably worth like, I was sort of confusing it with this one, which looks very similar actually. Like it's got to be the same artist. Takayoa is the artist. Alright, so, oh wow, look at that. Is this the one? No. Is this the one? Promo number 74. This is 056. There it is. Okay, so 474. So yeah, so I mean, again, a Charizard PSA 10, that's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer if the thing is in nice condition. I don't even have to look that up. So, pretty cool. Let's take this one out. I'm not sure what I'm taking it out for. I really don't even actually need to. Like, it's so funny, you know, I feel like there's just never surface issues on Pokemon cards that come straight from the pack. I mean, occasionally on the back I have seen, like, kind of scratches and stuff, so I will want to keep an eye out for that. But other than that, I mean, really what you're looking for is whiting and centering on the front and back, and that's kind of it. Notwithstanding all those foil cut mark issues I've been babbling about. Anyways, so this is a cool card. I'd love to have this as a 10, but I'm sure as a 9, it's probably well worth the price of grading. And I'm a Charizard guy, so honestly, having any graded Charizard is pretty sweet for me. Okay, so here's the card I can't stop pulling. Charizard EX Ultra Rare. I think 3 stars Ultra Rare. Actually, 2 stars has been getting called Ultra Rare. So actually I have it up right on the screen here because it's also Charizard EX. So here it is, yeah. So obviously, you know, it's a relatively high dollar card. I would think it would be worth more knowing that Charizard is very popular and that gold cards are sweet looking. But this is pretty minimal, considering the price of other, you know, fairly rare Charizards. Hyper rare, sorry, that's what the 3 stars are called. Yeah, so $22 card is an obvious, you know, and even as a 9, this is probably going to be worth 30 bucks. Maybe 40. So yeah, I'm just going to take this out, give it one final look through, and put her in a card saver. I think I might have another one of these. Actually, no, I think I have 3 of these now. So edges look very solid, centering looks very solid, back looks off center, but no whiting. So, no brainer, send that one in. Again, another one I'd be happy to have as a 9. Just personally, I think that's such a beautiful card. I don't know how many gold Charizards there are in the world. There's probably not that many. Very cool card. And yeah, just, whoa, sorry guys. Just pulled so many of those. I feel like I've pulled 3 of them, but maybe I haven't. Yeah, I think I have like 2, you know, non-centered one. All right, so here's the big dollar card of the submission. This is the Pikachu that my younger daughter, pulled from a 2024 collector chest, the lunchbox looking things. Top to bottom centering is not perfect. Left to right is a little bit off too. This is one where, you know, you just kind of want to have it in a holder because you feel like anybody who buys something that's this high dollar, you know, wants the assurance that it's been reviewed as legit, doesn't have any major issues, and is, you know, achieved the grade that it's been assigned. So just a kind of a no-brainer to send something this high value. Now, if it comes back as an 8, you really have to ask yourself, do I crack this and try to sell it raw? Or just keep it, you know, I don't know. I don't know that I would ever really sell this. I mean, I guess I might. If it was a 10, I probably will sell it just because, like, it's just too much to have sitting around in a collection. It's probably going to get dropped at some point. Alright, so this is another one of those Pikachu that we had in Japanese form to start the video off. Just looking at the centering. Yeah, I'll look this up real quick. Although I think we actually. I don't know. Did we look up? No, we don't think we did look up the English one. But I think that the excuse me, the price on this. Oh, pardon me, it's getting late here. I'll be darned. So this is the card, and it's worth way more in English. $7.43, and it's a Pikachu, so you know it's going to be worth sending in if, it looks like it has any chance at a 10. So let's get a closer look. Top to bottom centering, not so great. Left to right looks solid. Let's check the back out. Thing looks clean. Got a little scratch on the sleeve. I do see a little nick there. I'm going to take a look and see if that's maybe just some paper. No, it does have a tiny bit of whiting there. So that's probably going to be a 9. But I'm inclined to send it in anyways because, again, I don't know. It's funny. I've never sold cards at a show. Individual cards, I should say, of Pokemon. The last show that I sold cards at, I just had some unopened Pokemon stuff, and the market wasn't like super hot back then. I was selling like sleeve boosters of Stellar Crown for $3. Basically break even on those, but those were pretty popular. I think if I did that now, they'd be gone like in 10 minutes. But anyways, so here we have the third most valuable Pikachu, and it's really nicely centered, so that's good. The back looks very nice. Not too bad centering wise. And no whiting. So this one's like a $35 card. It was actually right up on the page when I clicked over last time. Yeah, so there it is, $32 for this one. I think this is actually a better looking card than the SIR. It's very colorful in person. Very sort of poppy and contrasty. Got a nice little stack going. Here's the stack right now of grade. All right, Vivillon, pretty nicely centered. Not perfect left to right, but pretty good. Back's looking fairly solid. Might be a little nick up there. Little tiny speck of white. I don't know. Let's check out Vivillon. I think this is like a $8 or $9 card. It's kind of cool. It looks like a photograph. Yeah, so it's a $3 card. I think I'm gonna pass on this one because of that whiting. I guess I should probably check. In case it's one of those weird cases. Oh crap! It's one of those weird cases. Yeah. So, the latest sale was 120. Although there was an auction that ended like 2 days before then. It was 48 plus 6. Strange. And then this is a Japanese, so don't look at that one. Yeah, the Japanese ones are cheapo. Gosh, I don't know. I guess I'm gonna send this in. I don't think it's gonna get a 10. I think they're gonna frick me on those white, kind of very small corner nicks, but yeah, that boy, I don't know. They're not gonna let me get away with that. Let me see what a 9 goes for, and if it's like more than $15, I'll just send the damn thing in. Oh, look at that. 42 bucks. It's like more than a lot of those PSA 10s. I don't know what the hell's going on with this card. Alright, we're going to send it in. Hope for a 9. See what happens. See what happens. Yeah, you know, my theory is that there's not a lot of people that grade Pokemon cards. It's kind of, I feel like, you know, in the stages that sports card grading was at, like in, I don't know, 2019 or so, and it just sort of like ramped up very quickly where everybody was sending everything they freaking owned in to get graded. And the premiums were so high on PSA 10s over Raw, and like so many base cards were valuable as PSA 10s. So I'm like sensing that that's exactly what's happening in Pokemon, which makes sense because I mean what happened in sports cards with grading becoming like crazy popular and everybody sending in everything, you know, coincided with the COVID and pre-COVID run-up of 2019 onward. Here we have the Executor EX Ultra Rare. So this is one of the gold cards from Surging Sparks. Looks relatively well centered. Back is clean. I think value-wise, it's probably like a $6 or $7 card. So again, it's clean enough that it's got a shot at a PSA 10. I'm sure it's fairly valuable as a PSA 10. So I'm just gonna put this right into a card saver. So yeah, I think a lot of a lot of Pokemon collectors are not too familiar with PSA. Maybe they've graded with CGC or some of the kind of off names, but I know it's probably like sacrilege to call them an off name, but they are, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to cards as opposed to anything else. Wow, there's like a little mark on this one. So this is, oh god, what's her name? Lycia's Appeal, I think. Japanese, and I think it's like a pretty valuable card raw. But this little thing, oh, it was on this. Oh no, there's like, wow, there's like a little. You see this little dot here? Like that's a defect in the print. So I'm sure they would ding me for that. Unfortunately, it's just a manufacturer. So I don't know. I think I'm just gonna probably pass on that one. I think this is like in English, I think it's like $40 card. Might not be Lycia's Appeal. So I think that's the real valuable one. The one I've got is the second most. Yeah, so it's this one. So it's actually this one. So it's 25 raw. So it's like, would have been a probably pretty valuable card as a PSA 10. Check it out. PSA 19 again. Yeah, so 75. Gosh, I feel like, did I have an Alicia's Appeal in the last batch that I did upgrading? I feel like I did, but can't remember. So yeah, as a 10, this one definitely is nice. But with that little print mark there, I think they would ding me heavy. So yeah, you sell it raw for 40 bucks. It's probably the best move. Okay, cast form. So this is just an illustration rare. Back looks clean. Relatively decent centering. Centering on the front's a little bit off top to bottom. Left right looks perfect. Sorry, I gotta show you that video. But we'll just take a quick peek. I'm pretty sure this is like a $8, $9, $10 card. God dang it. Kinda can't believe we're almost done with this pile. So yeah, $7 card. So yeah, I'm gonna send this one in. Again, as a 10, I'm sure Okay, next card. Get back to video here. We've got Stun Fisk. I feel like this is not a high dollar card, but could be wrong. I see a little white there on the right corner, a little white down there. So, yeah, I don't think I'm going to send this one in if it's kind of a low dollar affair. Let's see. Yeah, $1.52. So that's an easy no decision there. Okay, Archeludon. Double gold star, textured illustration rare, I believe is what this is. A tiny bit of white up there on that side, but probably okay. I think it's probably a $15 plus card. If so, should be okay as a 9. Why? Did I spell this wrong? Archeludon. Weird. Didn't put it. What? Okay, weird. All right, well, there's the card. $25. Yeah, so that's definitely a send-in card. Looks pretty clean, other than kind of those potential areas on the back. But I don't know. They could definitely pass muster. Make sure there's enough. Yeah, it's okay. So whatever. Send it in. Get a 9. Call it a day. How long is this video? Hour 17. God dang. Oh well. I'm glad I got this done, because this pile of cards has been sitting on my desk here where I record for like a month. And I don't know why. I do this a lot, where I just sort of put off looking at these cards. Sorry, I'm looking at the next card here. So the next card is Latios, a very popular card from Surging Sparks. And I see maybe a little bit of whiting on this one. Again, it's all like, sort of factory whiting. It just came out of the factory that way. It's how it was cut. So it's like they probably will penalize me for that, but there's a chance they might not. Let's look up Latios. So there it is, $36 raw. Very popular card. So yeah, oh wow, I see a little kind of like one of those cutting chips on this one, but it's not textured, so it's not the best. To have it there, they may not give it the pass that they get from that I hope we get. Yeah, you can kind of, I don't know, it's like you see a little sparkle there, but hard to tell what's going on. It's definitely from like the cutting process though. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like a lot of these I'm saying like, it's probably a 9. It's probably a 9. I guess I'm ready for a bunch of 9s. But like the last batch I sent in, I like didn't even really look at them that close at all. I just like, if it's centered, I'm sending it in. And then like 80% of them came back PSA 10. So I'm like, okay, well, it must not be very demanding, but it really depends a lot on the grader and, kind of mood they're in. So this is Iono. And me and my girls have pulled this 3 times. The other 2 are, actually one is not in my collection. My daughter has it, and the other one I have is, I think, off center, so it did not make the grading pile. But I know this one is worth like, excuse me, $50 raw. So it's definitely going in unless I find like a major issue. But yeah, I don't know what I would find on this thing. Yeah. So we'll send that in. Okay, last card. Maybe you saw it, but it's a banger. Check this out. So the other day, my girls were eyeing the Paldean Fates that I've had sitting around forever and not opened, and really had planned on never opening it. But they convinced me to crack into some of it, and sure enough, 2 booster displays later, we pulled this gorgeous Bubble Mew, which is like, not the most valuable card in the Scarlet and Violet era, but um, I would say it's the sort of most like kind of popular and talked about card in the last 2 months. So it's pretty cool to see it in person. It's worth less than the Greninja, I believe, and way less than the Pikachu SIR. But boy, everybody was obsessed with this card for the last 2 months, and it drove the price of. Oh man, I see a little white there too. So this one's kind of probably heading towards Nineville, unfortunately. But I don't know. This is another one where it's just like I think you just kind of got to get it graded. So not perfect, but hopefully it'll come back a 9 at least. And if so, I'm happy because this is just an amazing card. Okay, well there you have it. There's the grading pile. I would say the only thing is if I want to maybe grab some more cards for this submission, I would probably actually go look at more of these Pikachus because I know I have a few of them. And yeah, I don't know that really anything else I would go looking for right now. I've already gone through my kind of binder of top loaders where I keep my better cards and pulled anything that was basically anything that was centered and worth anything over $3 or so. I've already pulled, and that's kind of what constituted a lot of this pile. All right, there we have it, folks. So we'll send those off. I think 45 days is the current bulk turnaround time from PSA, so that's approximately when I will get these back, and it'll be a really fun video to share with you. Probably a frustrating one, but who knows? Luck could shine. All right, folks. We will see you next time. Until then, stay relaxed. Bye now.